What's up, everybody? I'm Frankfurter, that's Magically Average, and today we are going to be talking about really way too early rankings for the fall 2023 anime season. I had to think, what fucking season are we on and what year is it? I
Yeah,
nearly tripped myself up there.
I can
But
tell.
yeah, we have watched a handful of episode ones of current shows that have either returned or are just brand new. Mostly brand new that we'll discuss today. And shaping up to be an interesting season. And I use interesting in not a positive way.
Oh,
I think that this has kind of been a bit of a downer for a season. Like all the bubble shows that I feel like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it an episode or 3 episodes have just like ended up being big ass duds to
huh.
me. I don't know
I,
about you.
I don't know. I think we're always so jaded too because like our rankings are based off of the ones we've watched, and if it's only a handful of the total and like a fewer duds, then we're just like, it's just poopy. Like I'm sure if we watched every single one, it'd be a more fair ranking. But good God, I'm not about to watch every single one that drops.
Please don't make
Uh,
me watch Under Ninja again.
no, I would not. I wouldn't force someone being tortured in Guantanamo Bay to watch that. I will, however, force all of my very close friends to watch it. So they're about to get a treat the next few days, but
A minute of torture.
just the
Because that's
the
about all you
worst.
could have stomached as well.
So it is on par with the Tokyo 24th Ward,
And
that
how
beginning
goofy that
sequence.
start
Yeah,
is.
just that really
Yeah.
goofiness. Yeah.
I think this might be worse, but
No,
yeah,
this
I'd
one
agree.
Under Ninja took the cake. If you just go give it a minute watch, it's literally the first minute. You'll see what we're talking about. But no, I mean, I out of the anime that I've watched, I've been happy with all of them. There were like three I just gave like I'll just add it to the list and see what they're like, and they were immediate drops. One of them being Under Ninja, the other being Kami God Arabi or Kami Arabi God app, something like that. Just no,
Yeah.
wasn't about to do that. And then you told me about Protocol Rain. I watched about 5 seconds and was like,
Yep.
so yeah. I mean, out of those three, those were never really on my list to begin with. But the ones that I've watched and the ones that I still need to watch, on paper are all good. But I've been pleased so far. I like it more this season too because I feel like I have a wider variety in the anime I'm watching, which is nice because I think the last two seasons have been like action, lots of action and isekai and adventure and stuff. This one's got a better spread.
I feel like we've had a lot of slice of life like before the last season or two, and like we got really spoiled with really good slice of lives, and then
Yeah,
last season was just like, here's some action.
yeah.
Here's some more action. Here's some more action. But yeah, I'd agree that there's a good balance this season. In my regard, I've watched 12 episode ones of like new and returning shows. Um,
Just flexing.
just to get just to get the returning shows out of the way. Spy Family saw it. I mean, it's Spy Family. If you liked it, you're gonna enjoy it. Technically, One Piece, if you want to count One Piece.
We're not counting that.
Goblin Slayer season 2, which we were talking before the show, and I had the dumb realization that Goblin Slayer is literally, it's not like it came out in 2017 season 1, and it like had a movie, whatever, and now it's back. I didn't realize at the time of 2017 that Goblin Slayer is just basically another one of those really niche shows that we talk about every season that we're like, we're not going to watch this. Like, my life as a farmer and my cheap
Very
farming
niche
skills.
isekai,
Yeah,
specifically. Yeah,
this is just a fantasy version of that. It's just a dude who likes to kill goblins. This was the niche show before really there were niche shows because it came out in 2017, which was like right at the start of like the freaking isekai movement. So
yeah.
it was just one of those like dumb realizations of this is just another one of those niche shows. It's fine. Um, but yeah, and then I still need to watch the first episode or first 2 episodes, however many episodes there are, of Dead Mount Death Play,
Mm-hmm.
because that show in spring was really, really good. I've been reading it, so it's fantastic. Looking forward to more. But yeah, we have a bunch to talk about, so let's kind of hop into it. What do you want to talk about first, other than the fact that Under Ninja was awful?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
let's start with Frieren, because I think Frieren coming into this season was the most hyped new anime to come out,
Hmm.
and I feel like it's received a lot of differing opinions based on its first handful of episodes. Um, and this is a topic that I want to discuss for a later episode, so I won't spoil too much. But I am probably in the, like, I won't even call it minority. I think it's just really a split between, like, it was good and it was boring, and I'm on the
Yeah.
it was good side, just because I've read the first volume. And I knew what I was getting into. It reminded me of like the Hobbit, like reading the Hobbit. Like if you ever go back and read The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, uh, it is like 70% imagery of just them walking.
Yep.
It, like there's like very little battling or intense fighting moments or suspense or thrill. It is literally them going on their adventure. Like that is the book. And it's a wonderful read. The movie's debatable, but the novel, superb. So I knew going into Frieren, like that's gonna be kind of the vibe. It's gonna be uh we're the adventuring party that defeated the Demon King. We're now entering like this new age of peace and tranquility in the realm. It's a completely different feel in general, because this is something that based on how they're telling the story and how they're describing the world now, it's something that has not been the case for many eons, this like level of tranquility.
Right.
So it's like, well, now what? And the story focuses primarily on the elf, who is like, well, I'm just gonna go walk around for like 150 200 years and I'll see you guys then. And they're like, the rest of the party is all humans, and they're like, well, actually no, there's one dwarf, I think.
One dwarf, two humans. One's a
One dwarf.
priest and one's like a warrior.
Yeah. And they're like, man, she just doesn't really get it either. And the main character, Frieden,
Hmm.
is very apathetic, very just ignorant to humans and their way of life and how long they live, and doesn't really pay much mind to getting those relationships. And so when one of the spoilers ahead, but when one of the party members passes from old age, she's like, I never really got to know him, and I knew him for like basically his whole life.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably go out and fix this, and like it's all about her going and learning more about humankind, and learning more about herself too as a elf, and trying to become more in tune with like the world itself and everything that inhabits it. So like it was good. I thought it was really good. I don't mind a slow burn adventure. I don't mind something that's very casual. It doesn't
I
need to be
wanna
intense, but
I
I know I'm
wanna
on the other one side.
I wanna hyperfixate on the word slow burn. So I
Uh,
mentioned that this show was a slow burn in a server, and a lot of people jumped on me saying like, "No, it's not a slow burn. No, it's not a slow burn." And it's like one of those things that if you take a step back and you really analyze the show, is this a real slow burn or not? And while on paper it seems like it is, because they do take their time. There is a lot of just like walking through fields and whatnot in the very first episode, and just kind of self-introspective of the first character just asking questions and years go by.
mhm.
I would say that like the pacing of that type of like just it feels like a slow burn because they are taking their time and doing all of this world building by just showing just fields and everything else in their journeys. But at the other hand of just everything, I think that it is actually a really well paced show because I mean, outside of episode 1, episode 2, it does kind of get into a major character right off the bat and just kind of hop into their story and why they're there, etc. And while that does seem like it could be a slow burn, it's going through the plot, quote unquote, because it's a very loose plot relatively quickly. So I would agree that it's a good show. I've read the first like 6 volumes. I didn't like it as much as a manga as I do as an anime. I do enjoy the anime a ton more, interestingly enough, than I do as a manga, and I think that it's because of how flowy everything is that
Hmm.
it doesn't translate well on paper to me, but when you have the added music, the added color, the added voice acting, I think that to me really brings this series together and makes it something special. So I really enjoyed it. I think I'm 2 or 3 episodes in. I know there's like 6 out right now, and it's a 2 core that's continuing next season. I think there's going to be a total of 28 episodes. So
Yeah.
it'll be a good one to watch. I'm looking forward to watching more. I just haven't made the time for it. But yeah, no, I think Frieren has lived up to majority of the hype that it got from before the season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should clarify too that in my mind, there's a difference between like slow burn and like pacing in general. Because when I say slow burn, I mean like this is a type of anime where you're going on an adventure with them. Like you're not
Right.
watching it. You're not watching them go off and do really cool adventures or go to battles or and this and that. Like you're joining these characters on their adventure with them. So it feels very methodical and very just slow, which is
Yeah.
good. That's kind of like the point of it. It also speaks to the fact that this elf, looks at 150 200 years as like a drop in the bucket in terms of her lifespan. And so it's funny to watch the span of, I think it's like 40 or 50 years pass in the blink of an eye, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like nothing's different to her.
Yeah,
So that's what
because
I'm
she lived for like 10,000 years.
yeah, something ridiculous. So that's what I mean when I say slow burn. I agree with you that, and again, I've only watched the first episode, so I'm excited to get into it more. But I anticipate it being well paced and how it's going to tell the story moving forward. But I enjoy that aspect. I know a lot of people. I was reading comments online and getting general feedback, and it was, oh, just another boring adventure, just another boring story, and I'm like, it's if you were coming into this one expecting,
Action.
yeah, action and thrills and immediate fight scenes, it's not it. Again, seriously, go read The Hobbit. I would kind of compare the two as very similar in the sense of how it's going to be in my mind, paced
Yeah,
out across the first 28 episodes.
agreed. So you and I have watched a majority of the same shows, or I've watched basically every show that you watched so far.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk through a couple shows that I watched that you haven't. And I'm gonna just start with a quick one: the Magi and Dolly, the fucking
The
weird
creepy
ass
twins.
two
Yeah.
blonde twins. I put this on my like 1 to 3 episode list for the season because I enjoy a good horror anime. I enjoy creepy stuff. Like it's fun to me. I watched this and it was creepy in the sense of what is going on and why. Like what brain thought of this ridiculousness? Because basically it's about twins, or I don't even know what the fuck they are. They've got to be twins. But basically,
Mhm.
two orphan twins, one gets adopted, and because the couple only wanted one child, they don't know that he has like a brother, and then the brother just tags along by being shipped in a box and lives in the same house, and they just swap places. But they swap places and do the most fucking weirdest shit ever. Like you've probably seen clips circulating where they switch spots at a table, but they're holding each other's hands and feet and doing weird like
Cirque du
acrobatics
Soleil's
underneath it.
shit.
It's so
Yeah.
weird. It goes from like comedy-esque of like JoJo to where it's like over the top ridiculous to where it's like there's a clip where they're baking a cherry pie and the mom just out of nowhere just gets frustrated and says shit. And then it just gets to really fucking weird, creepy moments like this. And then they're like, there's the intrigue of the two twins are like under the bed, like under their bed, like with a flashlight devising plans of like, oh, we're gonna do this tomorrow, this tomorrow. And it's just like, okay, what the fuck are they up to? What's going
Mm.
on? But at the end of the first episode, I was like, this isn't even that it's too much. This is just fucking weird. This is just in the bad sense of weird. This is like that awkward, socially awkward person in the corner that like you say hi to, and they're like, "Did you know that if you take off the legs of a grasshopper, it can still jump or something?" Like I'm making shit up. I don't know. It's
Jesus.
just basically, yeah, it's basically that weird, socially awkward kid in the corner that you're like, you want to extend a hand to, but you know if you do, it's just gonna haunt you for the rest of the evening.
Mm.
That's this show. So, anyways, not gonna talk about it anymore. Another one that I was looking forward to just to see, like, out of pure curiosity, our dating story, the experienced you and the inexperienced me. Um, this one just starts out hot and heavy. It's just like basically guy in girl's room, and the girl's like, "Wait," or like the guy's like, "What are you doing? Why are you getting undressed?" She's like, "We're having sex, right?"
Whoa.
And then it just like hops into like how they got there, and it
Oh,
just
I was hoping that it would hop into the theme song or like the
no, no.
opening.
Well, I think it did, and then it was like the story of how they got there. I don't like it did split, and I don't remember if the
Yeah.
theme song went off or not. But yeah, it was not a great first episode in the sense of just like I'm a 31-year-old adult male, and these are just like literal teenagers that are just like cool, want to
Oh.
fight.
Oh. I,
And it's
I I
just
thought
like
you were referring to the guy.
no,
You're
no, the
referring
guy
to
is just like
yourself.
this, like really, like basically the guy is the inexperienced one. He's just like, just like a nerdy, self-conscious guy, and then
Yeah.
this just basically popular girl, and the guy loses a bet with his friends, and he has to ask the girl that he likes out, ask this girl, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm single right now. Sure, you could be my boyfriend." And then she's like, "But don't get it twisted. Like I won't cheat on you. Like I'm not like this type of person, but people do just like leave me eventually." And then you get into
Hmm.
that whole thing like stigma of like teenage relationships, and it's just I've lived that part of my life. I don't need to revisit that. We're good.
No.
So, yeah, it was just kind of like, "Nope, I'm good. Thank you. We're good." And then one of the last ones, at least the last one that I just was like, "You know what? Knowing nothing but looking at the poster, this looks kind of pretty." We both talked about how like this was just going to be a bad show from our preview. Protocol Rain.
Oh yeah.
It was just I know we like glanced it at the top of the show. This show is just bad. It's just bad. It's about a kid playing video games and just pro esports and such, and it's just trying to save like an esports cafe. It's bad.
But
The video game is in first
it,
person. It's like a first person shooter, but it's like
it's they
I don't even know how to describe it.
so
It's just so bad.
like normally you would imagine when they show video games and stuff, it's like just the screen. There's like nothing really on it or something, or like maybe they'll show like a really quick clip, but it's in the same animation style as the actual anime, so it doesn't look jarring. No, the studio threw all of that out the window. Was like, no, 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 no. Half of this anime is going to exist inside this game, and wait for it, the graphics of this game are going to be worse than original Doom.
It is like an N64.
No, you're giving it too much credit. It is as if they animate like took Pong and somehow made it into 3D
That's
characters.
that's a
It was
little bit
rough.
much, but
It was
it was rough.
rough.
It was rough, but it wasn't like
Okay, I'll give you how about like original is it F-Zero? Is that the racing where it's like
F
very
Zero
sharp?
is the racing,
Yeah,
but
very sharp, very
that's
polygonal. I'm
you're talking
thinking
about the GameCube one, right?
no, I'm talking like way
Because it's
early.
not 16-bit. Like it is 3D. It's just unpolished.
Oh,
Like
is it?
I would
Oh, is
akin it
it?
to like I would akin it to like the original like way back when World of Warcraft. Like it is
How about
semi
RuneScape?
akin to
How about
like
RuneScape?
we'll go with RuneScape. It is a
All
first
right.
person shooter RuneScape like type graphics, and
All
it's
you
just
know is
real
bad.
fucking bad.
It was just
It's bad.
bad.
But yeah, those are just a few. There's two other shows that I want to talk about that I actually did enjoy
Oh,
that I watched, but we'll get into something that we both have watched because you haven't talked in a while.
well, I mean, thank you for caring about me. Um, I mean, I I think I'll go through the ones that like they held my expectation going in. Um, so that I wouldn't call them like standouts by any means. They're just good. They're
Right.
solid ones. The handful would be Shy, Undead
Really
Unluck,
enjoyed it.
yeah, Undead Unluck,
Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Shangri-La Frontier. Um, God, what else did I watch? What did I say that I watched?
The 100 girlfriends who
Ah, it's
really,
in a
really,
different
really.
list. Calm down, calm down, calm down. It's in a different list. It's in a different list.
Okay.
Oh my god, I think that's it. I haven't watched. We talked about a lot of the other ones that I've already watched. So, yeah, I think those three going in. That was my expectation was that they were going to be good because I heard. Obviously, everyone knew from the trailer and just the actual manga. Undead Unluck, that was going to be a fun one. It is. I like the comedy. I think it's really well done. I like the animation style. It's very. I don't know how else to call it, but it's very like bright. It's everything kind of pops really well. Like from him the undead or Andy like gushing blood like a fucking drinking fountain everywhere. And then her the one scene with her jumping in the first episode with her hair flowing, like everything just I like the colors popping so much, even though like most of them are very like dull, like color wise, the color palette.
Yeah.
The animation style makes them really like pop and stand out. So I like that. So that was good. And then which one am I forgetting? I just said it.
Shine Shangri-La.
Shangri-La Frontier. That one was mostly just based off of
My recommendation.
yeah, well, a lot of people's recommendations. I think people watched the first episode and they were really
This
impressed with
is
it. It's a
this is
fun
what SAO should have been.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun take on something again to what you were saying earlier, referring to isekais, but like something really funny and niche where like it just follows this guy who loves trash games. Really good gamer, but seeks out the worst of the worst to beat them just to say, "Oh my
I beat it.
god."
I did it.
Well, yeah, I beat it, but oh my god, that was in fact grade A trash.
Hmm.
And then gets introduced to a good game and is kind of taken back by, oh wow, they actually do make good games at some point. Look at this.
There's no
Uh,
bugs. What?
yeah. So fun start. I like that one. I think it's going to be a fan favorite for the season, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And then the other one was Shy. Shy was a series that you introduced me to. I read the first volume, loved it. It's it kind of reminds me of I know it's going to sound weird when I say it, but The Boys, in that there's not a lot of superheroes. Like there's only a handful. And The Boys I seem are like that. Oh, goodbye camera. Um,
You're
it's
still
just
up for
me.
me. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, like I just had a
there we go.
glitch there where it just went boop, boop,
All
boop.
right, there we're back. Sorry, all the YouTube people that watched. Excuse us there. But like, because you have like My Hero Academia, which is like everyone and their fucking
Everybody's a hero.
sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has a superhero power. And there's plenty of other series that are like that, where a majority of the universe has something. Like One Punch Man is somewhat similar to that to a degree. But Shy is unique take on the heroes because it's like every country has a representative that's a superhero or what they call a hero because they don't really have any way of like describing them as anything but that.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was a good first episode. Again, I had read the first volume, so I knew what was going to happen, and I think they did it well. I love the personalities of the characters that we get introduced to. I like the suspense at the end of the first episode to kind of draw you in. It was really well done. But
Yeah.
those are out of the ones that I've watched, those are the in my block currently of the had
New shows.
expectations, met expectations.
Yeah. I know there's two other shows that you've watched and I've watched that we'll talk about after, but
Yes.
the other one that I want to talk about is the Kingdoms of Ruin. I watched this just kind of on a whim. I was like, what other shows look interesting that I could remember? And I don't remember really discussing the Kingdoms of Ruin all too much. So I was like, you know what? Let's give this a try. Because I'd also just previously seen a clip or like just started to watch a clip. I was like, you know what? This is a sign. I'm just going to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was an episode one of basically half the episode is world building and the tragic past of one of the main characters, and then the other half of it is slightly world building, and here is the introduction to your other main character that is on the poster and what predicament they're in, and then at the very end of the episode, like them meeting.
Mhm.
I don't really want to give too much away, but like it was a solid first episode for being like kind of a fantasy world. It's not an isekai, just straight up fantasy this time. I thought it was good. I thought it did a really good job of what it was conveying, and I was interested. I wasn't gonna give this show even an episode, but now I'm gonna give it three. So really,
Oh.
do as of right now, I'm really enjoying Kingdoms of Ruin, and then the other one I gotta find because I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Oh, it
Oh,
was the detective one.
it was the detective one, but
Ron.
before the detective one,
Oh.
I also watched I'm Giving the Disgraced Noble Lady I Rescued a Crash Course in Naughtiness. This one
Oh
was
yeah.
just bad. This was just bad. It was just basically a show like naughtiness could be in so like it could be taken so many different ways. It could be sexual, like ooh naughty, or it could be just
Don't.
like you're a naughty boy, bad, bad, bad.
I don't.
And
I don't
it was
want to hear you say those two things ever again.
sorry, you've been a naughty daddy, bad daddy.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, it was definitely the later, and it was basically like, hey, you've done nothing wrong. You're just like a noble who was basically excommunicated for a reason that you don't even know, let alone I. Let's get back at them by doing pranks. But the pranks are just straight up crimes. It's just basically like, let's go into their house and steal all their shit type of crimes. Like, it's just like, no, okay, I'm good. Thank you though. But yeah, the detective one,
It's like Ron.
Ron
Yeah.
Ron Kamonon Hashi's Forbidden Deductions.
I
Yeah,
was.
I know that
I
was a
always
that
love
was
listening to you say the
it's always a struggle. It's always bad. But anyways,
Japanese title.
this show is good. I there's like a twist at the end to like make it differentiate from like a normal detective show. Like it's always got to have a hook of some sort. Like you can't just have like a detective show and it just be good anymore. I feel like last season we had Undead Murder Farce, and the hook of that was being like, hey, we're gonna actually introduce monsters, and then here's all the fan servicey stuff that like detective people cream their pants over. Like it's everything that you would love, and it was a great show because it was different. It was a different take on a detective
Hmm.
series. This is no different. Like it goes through the steps of like, oh, you've got a naive cop who's not very good at like discerning who's a criminal and who's not, and he's trying to enlist the help of a very good detective who's just secluded himself to a room, and you don't know why. And then the end of the episode, when they catch the crook, because they do, you find out why. And I think that the reasoning is going to lead to very weird happenstances for the naive detective, and I am looking forward to it. I don't know how this show is going to progress. I don't know if they're going to have long arcs where they're really trying to narrow down who the criminal is of this like, mass murder or whatever. Like I don't think this show isn't giving me vibes of like this is going to be long arcs. This is going to be like episodic of like cool, here's a crime, go get him. The problematic thing happens, end of episode. Next episode, same thing over and over again until, the end of the season. I feel like maybe the end of the season they'll introduce like a small arc that'll take the last 3 episodes. But I think that the twist of this was pretty good, and I'm going to give it another couple episodes to see how it is. But yeah, I
Cool.
really enjoyed that one. But
Excellente.
we've got a couple other shows to talk about. I think we only have 2 shows left to talk about.
Yeah.
So hop into it. Tell me which one you want to talk about.
So I want to set up this anime first because I know people listening were just gonna be like, "Well, he's biased because this is his type of degenerate show."
Hmm.
And yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. But let me set it up first, okay? I had stumbled across this manga, I think shopping at Second and Charles, and I was like, "All right, this looks like just degen trash." But let's read the synopsis of it, okay? Let's read the back cover. And I was so hooked on how this manga was set up. I was like, well, I have to get it for sure. And I read the first volume, and it is one of the few manga I've read where I've laughed out loud numerous times reading a single volume. And I was like, this is pretty good. I'm very pleased with this. This was very much a good purchase. And then lo and behold, it gets announced as an anime, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to actually see this animated. I am in fact talking about the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Like You. This was on my skeptic list because I feel like a lot of people would read the title and go, this is just bullshit, harem, ecchi, dumb humor. I'm not going to watch it.
Yep.
And you know what? Fine. Fair enough. But if you're cultured and an intellectual, you would read the synopsis and realize that this is comedy gold. I was so pleased with how they did the first episode. I was so pleased with the animation quality, with how quickly the jokes came across. I'm a sucker for those really quick jabbing jokes that don't like linger. It doesn't take a lot of setup time. It's just like quick quip or like a very fast punchline, and then you just keep on going. Like that's always been my style of humor, and this anime has all that. But not only that, how everything gets set up at the very end is just peak, like throw a wrench in everything. And if you're not familiar with the synopsis, basically guy goes through his whole life leading up to high school getting rejected by 100 different girls. And leading into high school, he's like, I need, something has to change. So he goes and prays at a shrine, and he's like, God of this shrine for love, please answer me. I just want to have a girlfriend. And then the God shows up out of nowhere and is like, joke's on you. You have not only one soulmate that you're going to meet in high school, but 100. And he's like, whoa, that's great. So everything's hunky-dory. Go through. He stumbles across two beauties. The love sparks go through. Funny shenanigans ensue. That's what happens. Like the sparks.
It's just a funny way to
That's what
phrase
he's
it. The love sparks engage.
That's what happens. The God said.
Spark,
God says when you come across your soulmate, you will feel a jolt of electricity go through you.
Okay.
And that's when you know that you've fallen head over heels for this person, and they're your soulmate. And that's what happens. But then you find out at the end that because our main character is like, isn't it bad that I have two soulmates? And the God's like, well, yeah, but you have 100, and you can't deny them their love. And he's like, what? He's like, I've already got 2 girlfriends. That was hard enough. And you're telling me I have to have 100? And the God's like, yeah, because if you deny them their love, because getting a soulmate takes up all your luck in the universe. If you deny them that, they have no luck, and then they'll die a horrible but terrific death.
Yep.
And that is amazing. If you bring in, here's a harem, here's a lot of just really goofy, over-the-top shenanigans with BT dubs, there's the possibility that some of these characters might just die a terrific death. Yeah, you can sign me up for that one. That was the little kicker that got me hooked on the manga to begin with. And the first episode was perfect. I thought it was, the humor hit on every level. I think they got through a large chunk of volume 1, which was sufficient to get across kind of what is going to be ensuing afterwards throughout this first season. And they kind of gave hints at like future characters and stuff. Just overall great. I keep seeing clips online too of one of the characters in the second episode just being,
which I still need to watch.
Yeah, same here. But reading it, I knew of the scene. But they're people are falling in love with how cute some of the characters are, and that's kind of the other kicker to this, is that all the characters are really adorable and cute, and it's a wonderful anime. If you can get past the harem aspect, if you can get past some of the etchiness that is going to ensue later on, it is funny.
Has also ensued.
Yeah,
that's a little etchy.
But it is It is really funny. I love the concept of taking something that should be super harmless, right? Just harem. My boy, 6 girls is not enough. Like a typical harem is. This dude gets 100 ladies. Fuck yeah. Some of them will probably die. Oopsie poopsie. Like
Whoopsie daisies.
just that aspect of it, like I was like, this is gonna be great. I can't wait.
And to round us out, we have one last show to talk about because I did it. I did enjoy it, and there's not much more I can really add to it. So I'm just gonna move us on to the
Yeah,
next
that's
one.
fair.
The last show that we both watched. That thank you to our viewer Stead, who's just our friend as well at this point. Like we talk pretty
Thanks,
often
Stead.
about shows. Thanks, Stead. 16-bit sensation, Another Layer. Last year or 2 years ago, God, was it?
It
2
feels
years
like
ago
it feels like forever ago. I think it was 2 years.
I'll have to look up Remake Our Life. There was a show called Remake Our Life, and it was really good. It was fantastic. Basically, guy time travels and has a second shot at his life and what he wants to do, etc. And it was really good. This is basically similar to that, except it's a girl who is making video games, and she wants to make a Bishoujo game to her liking and a video game to her liking, and she unbeknownstly opens a gift from like an old grandma that she talked to at an old used video game store, and she's transported into 1992. So
From present time, we should.
from present time,
Yeah.
2023 to 1992. So it's one of those things that time travel can be such a fickle thing, but I think this is just going to ignore a decent amount of just tropes and other things just to streamline the comedy aspect of the show, and just I don't know, after episode 1, because like it was a lot of buildup of how did we get to 1992 rather than like it just built up this girl's life, told her told us her story and where she's at now in life, and then just was like, okay, she's in 1992 now. So episode 1 was really just kind of that, and it was a really good setup, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. And as Stead said, is this like an anime of the season show? No, probably not. But it is pretty darn solid for just kind of being new and out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This
Also, holy shit, dude. Yeah, 2 years ago, July 3rd, 2021, Remake Our Life started. That's oh god.
the thing
Anyways.
I like about this one too is whereas in Remake Our Life, the premise of it is guy had to choose between arts school and business school, went safer route, did business school, kind of regretted it to a degree, wasn't really having so much fun with it, and wanted a second chance, and he was given it. He woke up back in like when he was deciding to go to college and decided this time around go to art school. And so he no one around him knew, like it was just same old because it was just him going back in time to where he was prior to deciding to go to school. This one is completely different, where like she jumped back in time and immediately was like, I'm from the future, behold my great she didn't go like that, but it was like right out of the gate, it was like, what year is it? 1992. Oh boy, sit down for this one. I am from 2023 and I need your help. But I think this is my sleeper of the season, just because of the fact that the main character is someone you root for wholeheartedly, because I feel like everyone can relate to her in some way. She's loves Bishoujo games, loves them to death, and wanted to basically create a character of her own and make them the main heroine of a Bishoujo game that they would develop with a team. And like that's kind of her life stream. And she went to this company that's making Bishoujo game, or yeah, I guess they're Bishoujo games still, but they're really trashy. For instance,
Yep.
the game that they're developing at Bluebell, which is her company, is like Hypnosis MILF Hair Salon or something. It's like, good God.
Oh boy.
And she has this incredible scene where the manager comes in. He's like, all right, everyone read over the proposal for MILF Salon? And she's like, I have some suggestions. He's like, all right, picture this, and goes through like this hour plus rant of a game. And the manager just yells at her. He's like, stop, seriously, how far is this? how long are you gonna do this for? And she's like, well, that's only at the beginning. I haven't even introduced you to the actual main character. And he's like, good God, stop wasting our time. So you see how passionate she is for this. They like then later on she goes back to her apartment, it's just covered in all of these different figures and different video games and stuff and all these manuals, and she's got all of her art around, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make you into the next main heroine of a Bishoujo game. So if it's not, obviously if it's not specific to Bishoujo, but like everyone has something they can relate to where it's like you're extremely passionate about it, you have a driving force to do it, if it's your career or if it's a hobby or whatever. So you always just you like a character like this because you just root for him with all your heart. And then
Yeah.
she gets zapped to the past, and you're like, oh fuck, she is not mentally or emotionally stable to get ready for this.
No, and
Uh
nor is she gonna be able to handle potentially the technology, like the old tech that you
yeah,
had to deal with,
yeah.
and
Like
just like the manual processes of everything.
that was kind of cool how they set that up too, because they showed the office of her work,
Current
yeah,
company.
the current company, and it was like all tablets and stuff, and current computer systems and things like that. And then when she time travels, it's like the old gray big tube monitors with the tower next to it. They're showing programming language in like almost it looked like C Suite or something old. I don't even know if C
Yeah,
Suite was around back then, but very very
old
archaic
development.
to this day and age, archaic programming language and stuff. So it that piece to it was really fun to see. But yeah, this was one that I think when we were prepping for this season was on my list of like, yeah, I'll probably give it a try. And it just kind of fell through the grate for a bit, and I was like, oh, you know what? I remember this one. I'm gonna watch it real quick, and I loved it. I thought it was superb. I think the characters are fun. I like the setup too. I like that she's kind of given this new opportunity now to do what she's wanted to,
Yeah.
and again, it's just you just want to root for her. You want her to succeed. It's a
It's very
lovable
feel
character.
goodsy.
Yeah.
Very feel goodsy. I'm gonna end this with 3 questions for each of us.
Oh,
Question 1: were there any shows that you didn't get to that you still want to watch from this season?
yeah, yeah. There were a couple. I think I'll only name one of them though, because
There's 2 for me if you want to look them up and you can say them. But for
yeah,
me, off the top of my dome, Ragna Crimson, I've heard okay things of, which is on High Dive.
yep,
Haven't gotten to that one yet. I do want to watch it. And then the other one, which comes out later this week, the Apothecary Diaries, which comes out on the 21st. So normally I probably wouldn't watch something like it, but my little sister has been like, this is the only thing I really want to watch this season. If I had to pick one show I want to watch, it's this one. And I'm like,
hmm
okay, I didn't realize that you liked this series that much, because she's read through however many volumes they have, and she loves this series. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll take your advice. I'll take your word. I'll watch it when it comes out. So later this week, I will be watching episode 1 of that. But
yeah,
yeah. What about you? I know you
um,
had mentioned there were a couple.
yeah. Well, I mean, easiest one was just Ragnar Crimson. The two that are the hardest, which is why I've had to go back to watch them once they've come out, is the Fully Cooley series. So Fully Cooley Grunge and Fully Cooley
Mm,
Shoegaze. Because if you're not familiar
I
with
always
both of
forget about
those,
them.
yeah, they aired on Cartoon Network, so it's much harder to find. So I think both of them have actually concluded. There's only 3 episodes of each, and I'm gonna at some point go back and watch them. All 6 episodes total between Grunge and Shoegaze. Um, Grunge. I watched the first episode of it. Again, fun. It's fully coolly. It's crazy. Animation is very, very, very strange because it is the CGI. It's the 3D style, so it's a little weird. But it's got that fully coolly flavor. It's got the chaos. It's got the no one knows what's going on aspect to it. So still fun. You had a face and you were pointing fingers.
Yeah, there's a show that I forgot that I watched that was a huge stinker as well.
Oh, I mean we're past it, but I guess tell the class.
Bullbuster. Don't watch it.
Oh yeah, Bullbuster. It's
It
like if a
was
forklift became a mech series,
it
apparently.
was literally, yeah, like if you put treads on a fucking like the robot alien or the robot from the end of Aliens. Like if you put treads on that and maybe like a cannon or two, that's this show. It was
Cool.
not good. The CGI was bad. Continue.
No, that
What
was
other
it.
shows? Oh, that was it.
Yeah,
Fully serious.
Magna
Fair
Christmas.
enough.
Yeah.
Question number 2.
Uh-huh.
For new shows, not overall season, new shows, if you had to crown a winner for the season, what do you think is the best new show of the season?
Personal opinion, or like, are we saying like the overall
We'll go
anime
no, no, no.
community?
We'll say personal opinion because we know that the overall community is going to say free run.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna say
going to be free run.
it's gonna be
But
Frieren. God, it's so hard. Again, my heart goes more to like the casual life stuff. I really want to give it to 16-bit sensation, another layer.
mhm,
Um, but I mean, personally, I think I enjoyed Shangri-La Frontier more. Um, it
that's what
has
I would have given it to.
it has the comedy, it has the fun story. It's gonna have a romance piece to it. They've already set that shtick up. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was very fun. I again, like, just my heart still wants to say 16-bit, but I I know Shangri-La Frontier will probably end up being my favorite.
Yeah, I was definitely going to go with Shangri-La. It's I've only gotten maybe 2 or 3 volumes into the manga, and from what I've read, it's fantastic and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Hmm.
If I had to be different, I would go with Shy. It's something that I've been looking forward to for a while now, and I think that it's different enough hero wise. Like there's a lot of superhero shit that comes out, and I think it's different enough that it stands out to
Yeah,
be a bit different
yeah,
and stand on its own 2 feet. It's just a matter of I've only read the first 2 volumes, so once it gets past that, how does it actually stand? But yeah, if I were to crown one that was other than Shangri La and other than Freerun, because that is going to be the show of the season,
hmm,
the new show of the season, I would probably give it to Shy. But taking everything into consideration, new shows and season twos or returning shows, what do you think will be the show of the season?
do I have to give an answer?
If you'd
I
like,
feel like it's obvious.
Spy Family.
Yeah, it's Spy Family.
Yeah,
Because
especially with
we're
the
entering
arc.
into the arc that we both love dearly.
Yeah,
Like, it is.
I
I think it's without even argument. There's no debate to it that this is, as of current chapters are out too. Because I don't know if you're up to date. I'm up to date on the manga as well. Uh, this is currently going to be the best arc of the series. That is now
yeah
going to be, shown into the anime. Like, hands down. Like, I don't think there's really any competition to it.
yeah. Well, Jujutsu Kaisen. That would be the only other competition. It's honestly a
I
toss up
don't think
between the
it
two.
counts because it started last.
Yeah,
We're already into like what episode, like 12 or something, 10,
I'll look into it if you buy me
because it
time.
started at a weird time. I mean, we're getting to the everyone's about to have an emotional breakdown section of
Yeah, we're 12
Jujutsu
episodes
Kaisen.
in.
Yeah, yeah. We're about to hit the point where everyone's about to need to go to therapy to talk about stuff. Sorry. Side note, just because I saw it on Twitter real quick. Apparently, the mangaka for God, I'm gonna forget the series and I'm gonna feel bad. Very famous series. The mangaka for it apparently, don't know what the source was. I'm assuming someone close to them read the latest chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen and was so mentally distraught over it that they had to take a break from their own series just to mentally recover. Jujutsu Kaisen is now affecting other series.
Jesus.
That's fucking insane. Um, yeah,
But I know that a lot of people love the emotional trauma of a TV series. I mean, case in point, people love fucking like Your Lie in April,
Yeah.
Ahara, not Aharon. God,
That was
fuck.
like, ah,
No, the flower we saw that day. I can't remember the first
oh,
fucking.
yeah, I can,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, people love these type of like emotional
Ahano,
trauma.
is
Yeah,
Ahano,
something like that.
yeah, Ahanoa,
But like people, Anohana,
Anohana.
Anohana, the
There we
flower
go.
we
We
saw
got
that
there
day.
together.
There's
Teamwork.
like all these kind of like emotional, like like not shunning, but stunting, emotionally stunting shows that people absolutely love, and I feel like Jujutsu
Well,
Kaisen's like that. I mean, people love fucking Attack on Titan, and that's kind of like
oh yeah,
emotionally stunting, and everybody creams their pants over it, and it's just
yeah,
like I think that's why that it's gonna be a toss up between Spy Family because it is such a good arc whenever they get to it, and Jujutsu Kaisen.
yeah.
So
Again,
I understand the like two core, and it's just like, oh, it's already started or whatever, but
yeah, we're just so far in. It's like it's hard to consider Jujutsu Kaisen a part of this season, but
I mean,
I'll
we
give
have
it to you.
11 more episodes.
I know there's a lot of trauma to get through.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for us too. I know we haven't even. We're not even. This is not a spoiler for anyone, by the way, because you're gonna forget by the time the anime actually comes out. Trust me. But like Chainsaw Man too. I mean, Chainsaw Man is one of the few manga series where I read it and I had to put the volume down and kind of walk away for a little bit. Um, yeah, that one's not fun either. That one's a whole lot of emotional stress and turmoil.
I think the
So
only thing that I've actually done that with, if like I've read something and I'm like, "Ooh, I gotta put this down and like take a break," was Berserk, and it's
yeah,
specifically Volume 13. If you know,
yeah,
you know. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a toss up. It's gonna be a foot race as to who will come out on top between Jujutsu Kaisen and Spy Family, because I think we are gonna get another episode or two of kind of just like slice of life Spy Family of like
before
just like
yeah,
cute characters doing cute character things before we actually get the arc. So I think it'll definitely be a toss up between the two.
yep.
And you know what, you could even throw Freerin into there as well because
Why
it
not?
is a yeah.
Just mix the pot. Get it in
We'll
there.
just stir it. But yeah, no, that's our initial thoughts of the fall 2023 anime season. Let us know what you're watching. Let us know what you think is going to be the anime of the season. If you want more conversations like this, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. We try to post daily there. We're pretty bad about it, but we do at
Yeah.
least post weekly there.
We'll get back to
Um,
it. And
we'll get into it.
please, please reach out if you survived the first minute of Under Ninja.
Yes, please
Um,
let us know if it gets significantly better or not, because holy shit, that was
I don't
horrible.
think it can. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
it
it can
can.
either.
But yeah, if you are the lucky few to have survived it and still hold all of your brain cells, congratulations. Feel free to reach out. We will
You
set
want to
up a
know what it's
support group.
you want to know what it's rated on Crunchyroll?
It's got to be like 3.2 stars.
4.3 out of 5.
No way. Okay. Well, maybe we're wrong. Who knows? But
Yeah, but
oofta
yeah,
bagoofta.
tell us what you're enjoying. Tell us what we should watch if we've missed a show that you're actually enjoying that we should watch.
Or we
We
said
do
your show is
greatly,
bad and why we're wrong.
yes, or do that. So until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.